Hi, I'm Adam Jahns from the Chicago Sun-Times, and this is Mark Potash, and welcome to another edition of the Bears Beat video. All right, Mark, we've had some time to digest the Buffalo Bills' kind of impressive win over the Bills the other day at Soldier Field. We talked to Mark Trestman. He went over the film. What's your takeaway? Is this the turnovers, Jay Cutler's second interception? Do you blame the defense? Now that you've had time to go through this, where you stand?
I think the offense is clearly the problem. The defense obviously has some of the same holes they had last year, but they played well enough to win. That's just all you can expect of the Bears defense. It's on the offense to score more than 20 points. They didn't do that. They had their opportunities to. Those 3 turnovers just killed them. And the big issue is, you know, when Jay Cutler, if he fixes one problem, are they going to end up having another somewhere else? In other words, we just don't know if they're going to be able to fix this thing for good. And that was kind of the disappointing thing about yesterday's game, was that we had thought, it seemed like Mark Trestman was a guy who would kind of coach us out of Jay Cutler. And right off the bat, we've got one really bad turnover costing the Bears a victory. So, you know, all bets are off now. They've got a bad stretch here of tough games, and I think, you know, they're really under the gun right off the bat.
And there's injuries they got to compensate for. Now, we don't know where Matt Slauson or Roberto Garza are with their ankle injuries yet. We don't know where Alshon Jeffrey is with his hamstring injury. Brandon Marshall, he tweaked his ankle pretty bad there when he got contorted on a tackle. These are significant injuries. They affected their game planning or their play calling against the Buffalo Bills. You lose your deep threat, Alshon Jeffrey. You got 2 new guys there in the middle of the trenches. And this could be a big factor moving forward.
Well, I'm not too worried about the offensive line issues. Slauson is a really good player, but you know, Michael Ola and Brian De La Puente both, you know, I thought did very well. In fact, they were statistically their best offensive linemen according to Pro Football Focus. So, you know, they actually didn't lose much there. I think that was pretty seamless. It's the big problem, I think, is Jeffrey, because I don't know what his situation was. He thought he could play. Also, you got Marshall. If you lose either of those 2 guys, it definitely affects the Bears, because they can only go to Martellus Bennett and Matt Forte so many times. You could even see that was kind of wearing out a little bit, and I think it's going to be a problem because the other guys in there, you know, Michael Spurlock and Morgan and Santonio Holmes, just not ready to make that same kind of contribution.
Yeah, we talked about the concerns about the depth at wide receiver, especially Marquise Wilson, who still had to prove himself, but he was impressive at training camp. He had impressed the Bears staff. He can't come back for a few weeks because he's on the short-term injured reserve, and he's got to abide by those rules. But the depth of wide receiver, I mean, those players, Brandon Marshall, Alshon Jeffrey, they're irreplaceable. You don't have other guys like that.
And it's an issue that we knew was going to come up eventually. The offense has to kind of carry this team, at least right now, certainly right now, and already they've kind of put him in the hole. So it's a big test for Mark Trestman. He doesn't really feel the heat, but I think there's going to be a lot of attention on the offense really taking hold, and it always comes down to Jay Cutler. And we're going to see on Sunday night if he can step up and kind of rise above that bad mistake and kind of do something that I think he's paid to do, and that's actually lead a team to victory, be the reason they win. And if he can't do that, it's going to be a long, long year for the Bears.
All right, we're going to leave right on that note. Thanks for watching this Bears Beat video. He's Mark Potash. I'm Adam Jahns. Stay with SunTimes.com for all our Bears coverage.